Welcome to Mooney Reads, and welcome to a used book haul. I thought I would talk a little bit about the books that I've accumulated over the last couple of weeks. I don't tend to do book hauls a lot. I certainly don't haul everything that I buy, but I thought it would be good to talk about these. I got them while I was kind of down and out because I had to get gallbladder surgery. I got it removed a little over a couple weeks ago. You wouldn't think that I would accumulate books going to the bookstore that I work at less frequently. But here we are. A lot of these I got from the used bookstore that's nearby that have books for like 50 cents. And that's one of the places that I walked around while, supposed to walk a little bit, can't do too much, but I can buy books, clearly, especially when they're 50 cents. And then the other bit that I got was from ThriftBooks and BetterWorldBooks, because what better to do, at midnight on Oxycontin than buy used books. So I'll start with the books that I ordered on purpose, and then I'll go to the books that I just found thrifting. So first I have Empathy by Sarah Schulman, which is like many of her other novels about a couple of people who live in New York during the height of the AIDS epidemic. This was published in 1992 originally, to give you this sort of time frame. Most of her novels that I've seen are kind of in this particular location and kind of about similar topics. I'm really excited to read more of her stuff because what I have read so far is really interesting. Another one that I ordered from ThriftBooks was Trans Love, Radical Sex, Love, and Relationships Beyond the Gender Binary. And this is one that I've had on my watched list for a minute, and I got a really good deal. This was like less than $5, which is, at least the times that I've tried to look for it, I've not seen it that cheap. The subtitle kind of says it all, but I'm super stoked for that. And then I have The Storm is Upon Us, How QAnon Became a Movement, Cult and Conspiracy Theory of Everything by Mike Rothschild. I've had my eye on this for a hot minute. I remember when it first came out, I actually talked to one of my coworkers who'd done kind of his own deep dive into this, and he said that it was pretty decent. For like first looking into it, he didn't learn too much, but that's because he was already kind of like, neck deep in it. But he said that it covered kind of a lot and was good. And I saw it for like, I don't know, $5 or something. So this will go really well with my cults and extreme beliefs TBR. And I think the rest of these came from BetterWorldBooks rather than ThriftBooks. They're both primarily focused on used books, but BetterWorldBooks donate some of their stuff to literacy initiatives, which is pretty cool. So first I have Margaret and the Mystery of the Missing Body by Megan Milks. This is an author that I've been wanting to look into. I actually I borrowed one of their other books from the library literally years ago. I read one of the short stories and it was pretty cool, but then I had to return the book. So I saw this one and got it, and it's gonna be weird and queer. That's really all I need to know. Then I have The Care We Dream Of, Liberatory and Transformative Approaches to LGBTQ plus Health. I've seen this at a couple of different bookstores now that I've been at, and like almost bought it, but like went back and forth because it's a little bit expensive. But I got this for basically half the price that I would have otherwise. Can't really beat that, and it's really not in bad shape for a used library book. But again, the subtitle kind of tells you everything. It's looking at different ways to look at LGBTQ plus health that's different than how our current system operates. Next, I have a poetry collection, The Octopus Museum. I forgot exactly who recommended this because it's been a few years now, but it's been on a list for a while. And I also recently bought like a nonfiction book about octopuses, so I kind of thought it would be maybe an opportunity to read things together, even though this isn't probably literally about octopuses, but still could be fun. Then I have The History of AIDS, Emergence and Origin of a Modern Pandemic. Um, this was referenced in Let the Record Show, which I am still in the middle of reading. But this talks about, or the reason that I picked it up is because she mentioned it as one of the few books that talks about what it looked like kind of before they pinpointed what AIDS was, because the first study in the United States was released in 1981, I believe. But of course, it didn't, they didn't study it right as it was hitting, right? Some stuff was happening before. And so, if my memory of the passage in Let the Record Show is correct, they talked about it even as early as the 40s, seeing stuff that was kind of like this in some of the homeless populations and things like that, and kind of having lingo around it. So, anyways, that's why I decided to get that one. Then I have Criminal Intimacy, Prison and the Uneven History of Modern American Sexuality. So, borrowing from one of the blurbs on the back, since it kind of summarizes it well. Shows how the inside world of prison culture both reflects and shapes the outside world's understanding of sexuality. This is another one that's been on one of my lists for a while, so I don't remember who I heard it recommended from, but I think this is going to be a really good read. And then the final one that I ordered is Ma and Me. This is the author's memoir about the relationship with their mother. The author's queer and from the Philippines, so it kind of talks about those things. They ended up sending me an ARC instead of a finished copy, which is a little bit weird, and I'll probably be emailing them about, because you shouldn't make money off of ARCs. But regardless, I'm excited to read it. So next I have books that I found just kind of out in the wild. The first one that I'm going to talk about is Nightwood by Degina Barnes. This is one that I had initially borrowed from my partner in order to read. It was published in the 1930s, and is a lesbian, kind of modernist, poetic type story told in prose. I largely, it sounds cool anyways, but also I picked up Grease Paint, which I think it was actually kind of comped or similar to, on the back of the book. One of the people who blurbed it mentioned Nightwood. So I want to read this before I read that, because I think that would be cool. Now, like I said, my partner had a version of the book, and we actually picked up, this is the copy that they originally had. Picked up this copy at a used bookstore near us, not the one with the 50-cent books. So we found this one, and they liked this cover better, so they were going to pick it up, and I was just going to keep this one. But then, when we went to the library, they found this in the, quarter bin. So now we can both have the cover that we like a little bit better. But it's also good to have this one. The cover's not bad, but it also has an extra preface. But this one does, I think, just look really nice. And it was only a quarter. And this book, I'm actually not entirely sure. I think that I bought this right before I got sick. At the same time that I found the first copy of Nightwood, it was like that, but I'll talk about it anyways. The Understory, which is a translated novel, by a Thai author, and it's kind of a saga through this monk's life, from my understanding. It's pretty short, but I think that the writing style was looks kind of interesting. There aren't very many paragraph breaks. So I think it's going to have a unique style. I haven't really heard very much about it, but the back of the book sounded cool. And it's the right length for Shorty September, so I'll probably maybe pick it up for that. And then the rest of these books I got at the thrift store that has the 50-cent books. This first one is the only one that was $1 rather than 50 cents. And that is The Aquarian Conspiracy, Personal and Social Transformation in the 1980s, which was like apparently a pretty popular New Age book, originally published in 1980. It looks weird and interesting, kind of in the same lane as the Barbara Hand Cloud book that I have on Chiron. It's a little wacky, but I'm interested. Then I have what I'm pretty sure is a first edition, at least for this particular printing or place, of Asylums by Irving Goffman. Irving Goffman is a sociologist who I think coined kind of dramaturgy and like that part of symbolic interactionism, kind of using the kind of a language of theater to talk about how people interact socially, kind of person to person. So I've read like bits and pieces of his stuff and used a lot of his work on stigma and different things that I did in school. So Asylums, and then another one that is a first edition, at least, of this particular version of it, In the Shadow of Man, by Jane Goodall, who most people I think know about. She did a lot of really groundbreaking work with chimpanzees. And it's got sprayed edges. I love that it seems like sprayed edges were a lot bigger of a thing in like this maybe like 60s and 70s when it comes to printing, especially like the mass markets. So it's funny and interesting that sprayed edges is like a cool fun thing is like now resurfacing. Then I have Sappho's Sweet and Bitter Songs, which is about the ancient Greek poet Sappho. I don't know too much about this. I mostly picked it up because I like Sappho. I'm gay. Who's surprised? And so I thought I would look into that one. I have The Cancer Journals by Audre Lorde. Audre Lorde is great, and I didn't have this one by her. I am a little bit scared because this is like a kind of a hard subject for me, but it is pretty small. So we'll see how that goes. And I have No Logo by Naomi Klein. I somehow have not read any Naomi Klein. I have The Shock Doctrine now, and I started Doppelganger and really liked it. Like, I liked it so much that I needed to pick up my own copy instead of listening to the audiobook. So I saw this for 50 cents and had to grab it. We have The McDonaldization of Society by George Ritzer. This is another kind of classic work of sociology. George Ritzer he like coined the McDonaldization and talks about, I want to say his big thing was like looking within like bureaucracies and that sort of thing. I've definitely read or had to read bits and pieces of his stuff for my theory class, which was a hot minute ago, but I figured it would be good to have for reference and if I wanted to dig more to just understand that piece. Then I have The Kingdom of Cults, which was originally published in the 60s, but I think this version is from the 80s. It's a nonfiction book talking about cults, and it is bigger than you think it is. It's a 2-column kind of situation and talks about a variety of different cults. I don't know if it's any good, but it was 50 cents. And a good, I think, thing to go with my cults TBR. Then I have The Theater, A Concise History which is exactly what it sounds like. This one was put out, again, originally in the late 60s, but this particular one has been updated to 1998. It's got a lot of really cool pictures, and I really like musicals, and I've been trying to watch some of the older ones, so this is just cool to look at. And then finally, I have Digging Dinosaurs, the search that unraveled the mystery of baby dinosaurs. This was another random first edition, published in the late 80s. I've been pretty into dinosaurs, just like generally speaking, but also when I was in the hospital, the main thing that I watched was YouTube videos about dinosaurs. So that's comfy, and this will be interesting, even though I'm sure there's plenty that's, been updated since 1988, but it'll be cool anyways. So these are the books that I accumulated that helped heal me post gallbladder surgery. Like I said, a lot of these were 50 cents, which is just always fantastic, and I think really only one of them was more than $10. So it's hard to beat. But if you've read any of these, especially the ones in the second part of the video, let me know. But thank you all so much for watching. Bye.